Part of that silver medal team in Rio 2016. And Daniele GAROZZO, his opponent, the Olympic champion. And this is going to be an interesting matchup because we've got Alessio Facconi, who's the reigning world champion, up against Alexei Cheremisinov, who's the reigning European champion. And we have the referees, Tim Bardenhagen, Mikhail Mercado, Ko Jong-wang from Korea, and Willem Mader. So we'll get things underway with the first of these semi-finals. It's the Olympic champion Daniele GAROZZO up against Enzo Lefort of France. And joining me in the commentary box is the FIE fencing commentator Karim Bashir. Karim, talk us through their progression through to this point.
Well, Lefort had a bye before taking out Postjarnik. He then had an interesting one against Safin before beating Šupinić to make the semi-finals. GAROZZO, who's returning to good form, came through Perelman of Germany, Arslanov of Russia, his teammate Avila, and then Radkowski of Poland. This is a cracker because both of these athletes, for different reasons, are coming back to their A game. They're the best form that they've been in. Enzo Lefort back in 2016 had a marvellous season, finished ranked second in the world. Daniele GAROZZO, after winning the Olympic title in Rio, he concentrated on his medical studies, but now he's back fully focused on fencing, and both of them are coming together in a clash as they're coming to the peak of their really superb talent.
So the referee for this contest is Willem Mader. And they're underway. And if you're new to fencing, this is foil. It's the most technical of the weapons. It's a point weapon, and just the torso, just the vital organs are the target area. And the referee, because this is a weapon of convention, has to establish who the attacking fencer is. So who has started their attack first. And if you're being attacked, you have a couple of options. Either defeat the attack through distance, i.e. run away, or parry your opponent's blade, and then that gains you the right of way to attack. And of course, because this is foil, you will see white lights, which are off-target lights, and you will see coloured lights on the board. A coloured light is a hit in the target area, a white light is a hit off-target. The off-target lights do count a lot in fencing, and you'll often see the attacking fencer hitting off-target, but the fencer who doesn't have the right of way might hit on-target. It doesn't matter, no point is scored, it's reset where they are on the piste. So Karim, talk us through the style of these two fencers.
Just come together there. Yeah, well, they are very impressive. GAROZZO upright, he's on the right-hand side of the piste, upright on guard position with a very high blade. He's quite bouncy, likes to play around with the distance, so really keeps his opponents on their toes. And like a lot of Italians, he likes to find the blade first, establish that right of way you were talking about, and then press in the attack. He tries to draw the counter when he's attacking to then finish his attack or do parry or riposte. Enzo Lefort, on the other hand, he's very upright with his on-guard position. It's slightly unorthodox footwork where he closes his feet up a lot more than most. He also likes to find a beat and then come forward with his blade moving constantly before finishing the attack.
So no one registered a hit as yet. There are three 3-minute periods with a 1-minute break between the two 1-minute breaks between first and second and third. And the fencers are fencing up until 15 points.
Yeah, GAROZZO is going to start to question that Lefort. He does like to close the distance, Lefort, and get into close quarters, and he is quite good in there for a tall man, but he's also very good at wrapping himself up so you can't hit him. Got to be careful of what they call core-a-core, body-to-body, sort of barging your opponent, basically. GAROZZO already suggesting to the referee he wants him to look for that. It's a yellow card for core-a-core or any minor infringement of the rules. really are taking their time on this one.
Yeah, it's a cagey start.
Yeah, both of them know the threat that's in front of them, and so they are taking their time. And the defence here from GAROZZO is to look for a counter-attack. He is trying, rather than to run away from Enzo LEFORT when he gets going, to dive in and get that counter. And I think that there's an issue with some of the equipment here on GAROZZO's, and I think that's what he's suggesting. You'll see here that they're wired up at a lot of major championships now. They use the wireless system, so there's no connection, nothing coming out the back of the fencer's back pocket.
Well, looking at their previous history, Enzo LEFORT actually has a good record against Daniele GAROZZO. I think he's, is it 4-2?
Yeah, it is 4-2, but a couple of those fights are up to 5 in pool matches early in their senior career. So, if you like, in a 15-hit format, it's 2 apiece. So that's why GAROZZO is taking his time. And out comes Vili, the chief technical engineer. Said there was some issue with the equipment, and I think that there's actually a problem with some kind of earthing. Galli, the Italian coach there, looking on. I saw him just before the start of the semi-finals. Fabio Galli was pacing up and down back in the call room. He had his coaching jacket on, so I think he'd just literally come from a quick, probably 5-minute warm-up lesson with Daniele GAROZZO. Definitely an issue.
Yeah,
but
Willie can't fix it.
Yeah, LEFORT looking on, passes GAROZZO his mask. I think he wants to get on with it. And look, you see there, Daniele GAROZZO is testing to make sure that his light comes up when the spool cable, as it's called, is at extension or moving.
Right, so we're back underway. We're over halfway through this first period and not a point registered yet.
Yeah, but it's not passive. They are
Nope.
trying to do something.
Oh, no, now
GAROZZO.
GAROZZO's just taken the guard to the face.
He went for the attack there. He went for the attack. You'll see it here in the replay. Finds the moment to go out on the attack, and LEFORT goes in with a counter, trying to stop the threat of the Italian. Now, the Italian definitely hit then. He definitely hit his opponent. He went down, caught a guard in the mask. That was completely accidental. But what GAROZZO was saying to Willem Madder is, my foil hit Enzo LEFORT and no light came up on the box. Now, that's a massive problem.
Yeah.
They're going to change the spool. That seems like a sensible idea to me. It's unlikely to be any part of the equipment on GAROZZO himself, because when he tests, everything works. So I think it's when the spool is under tension, doing some work, it rotates on it. It's called a spool, but literally because there is a spool inside there that the wire comes in and out of.
Any reason why we haven't gone fully electronic at these European Championships?
I'm not sure why they've gone for it, but it's not a cheap option, that's for sure, wireless fencing. Probably is a budget thing.
So, 1 minute 15 left on the course, and finally we get a point, and it is to the Olympic champion, Daniele GAROZZO.
Keeping it pretty simple as well on that attack. No blade movement at all. Just a feint and then a hit to body.
So off target from Enzo LEFORT. GAROZZO picking up the right of way. Now it's LEFORT.
Yeah, that's correct for me from Willem Madder. Danny GAROZZO not 100% convinced, but he definitely picked up the right of way there, the Frenchman. This match is going to carry on just like this. I can't see it changing even after breaks. I think it is going to come back down to which fencer picks the right moment to launch the attack. They're all going to be fairly simple attacks, more than the other one.
So it's GAROZZO attacking now. Beats the blade. Now it's LEFORT. LEFORT coming forward. And GAROZZO hits him with a counter.
So what happened there is LEFORT got overexcited. He got too close to his opponent, brought his arm right back. Danny GAROZZO spots that. It's only a split-second opportunity, and Fabio Galli is delighted. He picked the moment, did the stop hit, and ran away.
Now, we talked about if you're new to fencing, there's two options if you're being attacked. That is actually a third option, is to come in on the counter.
Yeah, if you counter, basically what you've got to make sure is that your opponent doesn't land a hit, whether it's on target or off target. If there's only one light on the box, it's your hit.
So LEFORT with the attack.
Beautiful parry riposte. Yeah. Circular ceased, waited after he got the parry because he had the right of way and picked his spot for the riposte. Nice stuff from Danny GAROZZO.
You talk about circular ceased. For those new to fencing, you're talking about a fencing line, aren't you?
Yeah, so there are 8 modern lines. I mean, there are technically 9 lines in fencing. The two main ones at the top of the body, defending the high line, as it's called, are cart, which is like a windscreen wiper going across your body with the blade, and ceased is where most of the fencers come on guard. Those 2 lines are basically, when I say circular cease, he's moving his foil into the cease line to block his opponent and then landing his riposte. Circular cease just simply means that he does a little twiddle of the sword before...
underneath the blade.
Exactly, before he hits his opponent's blade. Well...
So yeah, we're going to the break. It's 4-2.
It's an interesting one as well, Graham, because what's happened there? I know it's only 4-2, and I know that it's been low scoring and the action's been very, very tight. But actually, GAROZZO's landed a stop hit. He's landed. That was an attack. That was his first hit, I think. No, that was actually LEFORT's first hit, picking the moment to go on the attack. But GAROZZO's landed an attack. He's landed a stop hit, and he's landed a parry riposte, and those last 2 are going to make LEFORT a little bit nervous and anxious on his attack, and that's his most dangerous weapon. So Fabio Galli will be saying, yes, stick with the same thing. Let's have a variety. You can go for the attack and press him, but if he comes forwards, take the blade or counter-attack.
And what will Frank Baudin be saying?
No, that's Emeric Close.
Sorry, Emeric Close.
Emeric Close. Frank Baudin, you're right, is French, but he's moved over to the Japanese team. Emeric Close will be saying to Enzo LEFORT that when he presses on his attack, he needs to make sure he set it up well, like he did for his very first hit. It probably needs a couple of phases so it becomes a surprise when the final action comes. And when he's defending, I think really he's got to be thinking about either closing the distance immediately, or if he doesn't spot that moment to close the distance, he's got to get out of the way and create some space so he can find a parry riposte.
So here we go. 4-2.
Oh, counter riposte.
Yeah.
It was a counter riposte there. LEFORT got in with the attack. GAROZZO found the blade, tried to go for his riposte. LEFORT parried himself, but GAROZZO was super quick. Second counter riposte that's known. Making LEFORT probably even more nervous to go out on the attack. A third different option in the tool bag for the Italian.
That was, even though, if you're new to fencing, even though LEFORT seemed to hit first, it was GAROZZO that had started his attack and was just a little bit slower coming through. But because LEFORT did nothing to defend himself, and that's where the word fencing actually comes from. It's about defense, because this was a training weapon. It was a training weapon to improve your skill. And the most important thing when you were training for fencing is not to get hit, is to be able to defend your opponent. And that's why we have the right of way. That is why it exists.
Interesting one, that one. Enzo LEFORT going for the old school broken time attack again. I think he needs to be very careful of that one, because GAROZZO's got the measure of it. He either runs away and creates a space to find the parry when the final action comes from LEFORT, which he did there. Oh, he's getting a stop hit on it. Oh, first one misses, but LEFORT run out of space.
Well, it's fascinating. Oh, LEFORT pushed right to the back line.
So more options here for GAROZZO. He's putting in a whole bag of tricks here. He's now closing the distance out for the Frenchman to run away before landing his attack. And GAROZZO's confidence will be sky high right now. Beat attack. That's another option for LEFORT. Find the blade at the last minute to really make sure he establishes the right of way, but perhaps more importantly, knocks his opponent's blade out of the way to avoid the counter. Low line parry this time. Whoa! GAROZZO's not happy with Villamada calling the halt there. He felt he had enough time to land a hit.
Yeah, he knew it was his right of way and was just holding his weapon back. GAROZZO pushing forward now for LEFORT. It's changed a couple of times. That one, it was GAROZZO in the end.
This is what I was saying earlier on, right at the top. GAROZZO is patient when he comes forward. He keeps the right away and tries to draw that counter-attack and then just finishes his attack. I fancy if that happens again, GAROZZO will go for a second intention parry or riposte. So rather than finish his attack, he'll lure LEFORT into going for the attack into preparation and go for a counter, go for a parry riposte. And a yellow card coming out for Korakor.
Yeah, well, there's been a few, hasn't there? From LEFORT. So GAROZZO trying to hit the counter there, but LEFORT able to finish the attack through. 10-4 the score. Difficult to see a way back now for Enzo LEFORT. It's not impossible. The referee's given that one to LEFORT. Yeah, it was LEFORT's attack. There was no break in the time there from when he started to move forward. No preparation. So Villamada just going to check the video. He's giving it to LEFORT. Now, we said it wasn't impossible for LEFORT to come back.
No.
It's a mini comeback.
Yeah, he's rallied, and his attacks are the key here.
He took GAROZZO, just waiting. Knew it was right away. As soon as LEFORT moved back,
yeah,
GAROZZO could then hit. LEFORT should have moved forward.
He should have stayed in there,
Yeah.
You're just opening up your target and you're running away, so it's very difficult for you to defend that. That was a bit of an own goal, unfortunately. Yeah, so the first one doesn't go through. I kind of see why GAROZZO would challenge this one and ask for a video, because basically what he did was he kind of pulled out of his attack at the last minute and did what you see more in Epee, a closing hit. I think we'll get this here. At the last minute, he kind of blocks out as he hits.
Yeah.
But the question is, did Villamada see it as a parry riposte? That's certainly what he called. I mean, I'm with the referee on this one. I would have given that one to Enzo LEFORT here.
But if you're going to block out, the idea is you don't get hit.
Yeah. He's given it as a riposte, no, initially. So he did give it as a parry riposte in the first place, but LEFORT not getting the first one to land. Oh, didn't land the hit. Didn't land the hit. He might want to change that foil. Might want to change that foil. I think if that happens again, he definitely will change it. I don't think it was his right of way anyway.
No. So 12-7. We go to 15.
That's nice from Enzo LEFORT. Simple attack.
Yeah, he's rallying. He's getting back in there. GAROZZO just needs to do what he does.
Tension's rising.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Graham. It's been a while since the Rio Olympic Games when Daniele GAROZZO was at his very brilliant best. But I'm seeing signs of the return of that form in the Italian. The way he's moving on the piste, the adaptation, the start, it's his natural feeling for the game is right back.
Well, we're right into Olympic qualification period now, aren't we? And these results really important, both on an individual scale and on a team. I mean, you've got to say that the Italians are more than likely, very, very likely to qualify as a team.
I'm going to go one step further than that. They're going to qualify in the top 4 in the world and go to the Olympic Games. It's not quite the same for France, though. And so with team qualification being the sort of primary route to the Olympic Games for fencing, individual results are very important if your team doesn't qualify, because there's just a handful of individual places added once the teams have qualified.
It really is just a handful, isn't it?
Yep. Oh, nice.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful from Daniele GAROZZO. And he really did have control over Enzo LEFORT from the very moment that this fight started. Sees that one through. 15-8. Daniele GAROZZO is getting back onto the level of form that he was 3 and a bit years ago. at the Olympic Games in Rio.
Yeah, but hats off to Enzo LEFORT, though. He's returning to some of the form we saw back in 2015, 2016, and that's a great deal of points he's got here at the European Championships. He will obviously be on the bronze medal step on the podium a little bit later.
Yeah, I mean, third place. It's a whole lot better than the 13th place he did last year in Novi Sad. It's part of that silver medal winning team from Rio as well. And yeah, the French team perhaps not as strong as they were 4 years ago, or they were at the last Olympic Games. And LEFORT, well,